of today. Please welcome Morgane Gallinari from the University of Brest. She was at the Schleswig Field Station in August 2012 and did a study on carbon sinkage in a marine environment. So please.
So good afternoon, I'm Morgane Gallinari, I come from France, and I will present you some results about an experiment on the higher sinking fluxes of an outdoor mesocosms experiment associated with diatom-based food webs. So this experiment was a part of the European project Eurobasin, and more particularly in the World Package 2 on the biological pump. And this experiment was funded by the Eurobasin project, but also by the European Infrastructure Network HydraLab 4. The aim of this project was to study the vertical flux of carbon produced by phytoplankton through the marine food web versus its export from the euphotic zone as large rapidly sinking particles like aggregates. So for this experiment, we used mesocosms and we tested the impact of phytoplankton population, in particular diatoms, and the impact of mesozooplankton. So the experiment took place in Norway, near Trondheim, in the Bay of Opavagen during the summer 2012. So the Bay of Opavagen is a semi-enclosed marine lagoon of 30-meter depth on the deepest part, and 40% of its water is daily exchanged with the oceans by a narrow inlet. Yeah. The same. Oh, no, it's okay. Now I know. Sorry. Be careful for the others. So sorry, I will not give you a talk on hydrodynamisms because it was not the aim of this experiment. So the aim was to study the impact of an oligotrophic and little turbulent environment on the export of carbon. So we tested for this the impact of the phytoplankton community by added in the half of the mesocosms dissolved silicate to stimulate the growth of diatoms. The diatoms are algae that are the characteristic to build silica cell wall called frustules or biogenic silica, and that makes the cell dense, and they can leave the euphotic zone to go to deeper in the water column. They have also the capacity to form aggregates at the end of a bloom, and the aggregates are one of the more important vectors of the vertical flux of particles. So we test also the impact of the presence of grazers, and in particular copepods. And copepods can have different impact on the export of carbon. By the production of the fecal pellets, they can contribute to the vertical flux of carbon, but they can also decrease this export by degrading the particles or the phytoplankton or the aggregate. And they contribute to the remineralization of carbon in the water column. So what we did is we add some silicate in half of the mesocosms to stimulate the growth of diatoms, and we compare with other mesocosms where we didn't add dissolved silica and where little cells only composed of carbon and weakly dense has developed. And we compare the export of carbon. We also compare mesocosms with and without copepod, and we compare also the sinking flux. So the experiment. So we ran 12 mesocosms in total, allowing 4 different treatments in triplicate. In the half of the mesocosms, we remove the copepod, with repeated holes with the plankton net. And in the other half of the mesocosms, we added copepods from the lagoon with a concentration of 4 copepods per liter. So the environment on the Bay of Opavagen was oligotrophic. So to limit the loss of matter in the mesocosms, we daily add some nutrients to simulate vertical or transverse inputs. So in the half of the mesocosm, we just add nitrate and phosphate, and on the other, we add also silicate. And those mesocosms was not mixed during the experiment to do not disturb the aggregate that formed. And but we know that there is some little turbulence because of the waves and the tidal current, but we didn't measure it. So the sampling in the mesocosms. So mesocosms are 10 meters deep with a diameter of 1 meter, which correspond to around 9,000 liters. So each 3 days of the experiment, on 1 month, we sample the water in the mesocosms in the 5 first meter using a tube sampler of 1.5 meter, and we collected all the dissolved and particulate matter for analysis. And 3 times during the experiment, we also deployed some sediment traps for 4 days at 8 meters in the mesocosms to collect all the sinking flux. And we also deploy some gel traps to have some picture of the quality of the materials that sink. Voilà. Here is an example of CTD profile that we obtain in a mesocosms with profile of temperature, salinity, or irradiance. What we can see is that there is a general stratification in the mesocosms, and most of the biomass is in the first 5 meters that we sampled. We can see also on the irradiance profiles that the depth of the euphotic zone was around 6 meters. So here I present you the average particulate organic carbon concentration in the upper 5 meters. So with a different treatment, with and without silicon, and with and without copepod. So what we can see, the particulate organic concentration in the first 5 meters are stable during all the experiment, but also remains equal between the different treatments, with very slight differences in the mesocosm with the added copepod. Sorry. So we had the same concentration in particulate organic carbon in the upper 5 meters for the different treatments. But if we look at the SI on C ratio in this upper 5 meters, we can see that there is a marked differences between the community, between the mesocosms with dissolved silicate and without. So, and what we can see is that for the mesocosms with SI, there is a development of a phytoplankton community that is dominated by diatoms. So, the concentration in particulate organic carbon in the surface of the mesocosm is equal in the different treatment. If we look now at the particulate organic carbon export flux in the sediment trap, and in milligram of carbon per meter square and per day, we can see that the fluxes in the mesocosm are slightly higher for the mesocosms enriched in dissolved silicate. But if we measure the total POC fluxes, it is really greater for the mesocosms with SI. That suggests that in mesocosm enriched in dissolved silica, there is more export of carbon. If we look now at the biogenic silica export, which is the the name of the fossils of the diatoms that we measure also in the sediment trap. We can see that the experiment went very well because for the mesocosms without addition of dissolved silica, the diatoms completely disappear, and there is a lot of quantity of diatoms in the others. And what we can see is that there is a little difference between the different treatments with slightly lower biogenic silica export in mesocosms where we add copepods. That suggests that the copepod didn't, in our experiments, enhance the export of carbon. So here I present you some picture of gel traps that we collected in the middle of the experiment. And so with the different treatment, without SI, with SI, without, and with and without copepod. So our results are confirmed by this photograph, because we can see that in the mesocosms where we enrich in dissolved silica, we have more aggregates, more particulate matter, more than in the others where there are no SI. And when we can see also is that for the mesocosms where there was no copepod, we observe that the aggregates were more dense, and in the other, where there is some copepod, they are more fluffy and more fragile. So to conclude with our two questions, does the copepod enhance the sinking flux of POC? We can answer that in our experiment, that this addition of copepod did not enhance the particulate organic carbon flux, but we can observe that is related to a greater retention of biogenic silica, so diatoms, in the water columns of the mesocosms. And our second question about is dissolved silica can enhance the sinking flux of particulate organic carbon. We observe that it is the case, and the carbon sinking flux appear to be controlled by the biogenic sinking flux, which in turn is related to the net production of diatoms. And we observe also that when we compare the ratio of silica on particulate organic carbon in the sinking flux and in the standing stock in the first 5 meters of the mesocosms, we can see that it's greater in the sinking flux. That suggests that the particulate organic carbon that is exported is associated with diatoms. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Marianne. Any questions? We have some few minutes left. So, yeah. Please, I forgot it last time, but please say your name and where you come.
Yes, hi, I'm Jussi Evertsen from Trondheim in Norway. Why did not the copepods contribute to the flux of carbon?
We think that the aggregate, the copepod, grade on the aggregate that has formed and destroys the aggregate that form and reform, and they are more fluffy. We think that they eat the particles.
Okay, some other questions?
Thank you. I'm Lynn Frostick from the University of Hull. The fluffiness, what was the cause of that? I mean, you seem to link it to the copepods, but the very more fluffy nature of the aggregates. I mean, is that to do with what the copepods are producing, or what they're eating, or what?
Thank you. We think it's the structure of the aggregate, because when the aggregate form, it's based by diatoms that excrete some sort of glue, and they form aggregate, but they can't all the things that during the descent in the water column, they cut off the things around, minerals, copepods, fecal pellets of copepods and things like that. And we think that in the mesocosms with copepod, there is different material because copepod hit a lot of things in those mesocosms, and the characteristics of the aggregate are different because perhaps of less of particles, less diatoms inside. It's for hypothesis. We have to test. We have to measure now. We have a lot of also samples of phytoplankton and copepod also to analyze. We didn't analyze all the parameters, so we have to go further inside.
Okay. Yeah, I would this biological pump. It's really important when you look at climate change, probably capture of CO2, and do you mean that this silicate that it is so important? And I mean that you could look at fertilizing the ocean in order to make sinking of CO2 or capture? No.
Yes, with they are denser cells and they form aggregates, but there is another thing that can pass during the sinking flux, like grazing by copepods or fish or things like that, or on aggregates. They can export very efficiently the carbon from the euphotic zone, but after, in the water column and in the deep sea, we don't know exactly what can pass, and they are not so well preserved. Not in all the oceans. There is some regions in the ocean where diatoms are well preserved, and in others no. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, if there are no further questions, no. Okay. Well, then I thank you for this session, and then I wish you all a good evening, and then we continue tomorrow with some more